I am the narrator. Before this episode begins, Maddie will be talking about Jumanji, the board game edition. And there will be, in fact, spoilers. Keeping that in mind, let the show begin. Good morning, everybody. My name is Maddie, and today we're going to be talking about Jumanji, the board game, specifically. Not Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, because it's cool and everything, and everyone's seen it, but there's not a lot of information about the board game movie, which is why I'm here. I'm here. So, in all the movies about Jumanji, there seems to be a pattern of one character being stuck in the game, like either it's in the board game or the video game, and they have to survive and wait many years until new players arrive and have to finish the game, you know? And then, you know, happy ending, everyone survives. So, Jumanji, if you've paid attention to some of the animals that they might be mentioning, they'll always say African animals, or like African and in the species of its actual name, instead of like African rhinos, African bats, or something like that. It's because the game is like inspired around Africa and its animals or things that might be in the jungle of Africa. The whole Jumanji thing is a curse, whether if it's the board game or the video game, because for some reason it has these magical powers to unleash the worst parts of the jungle into your living room. Like venomous spiders, a herd of rhinos, and for some reason killer vines. The Jumanji board game looks like a normal type of board game. It has the name and like some design to like catch the eye, but I thought it was a little bit different how the game opened, like a book, instead of just like sliding the lid off and then you open up the board. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, I just thought it looked a little bit different than normal. And we never really saw what the Jumanji looked like inside the board game. We only got like a description of nightmares until the game turned into the video game, where we like watched all the characters go into the game and we saw everything from there. So yeah. So in the Jumanji movie, whenever Alan was sucked into the board game, he had to fight off like lots of animals and the Manhunter. But I also think, now this is just like an idea for me, that he also had to survive from tribes, like, you know, African American tribes kind of thing. Those are just my dogs. They're the history of the like idea of where Jumanji came from, unclear. But we do know the history of like the timeline of the Jumanji movies. So actually, all the way in 1981, there was actually a book that came out about Jumanji. And then, you know, later on, 1995, the actual movie came out. And the only one that Jumanji was a board game. And then the 2017 and 2019 are the Jumanji movies as a video game. And even the video game one, or the video game of Jumanji is like an older model of video games, because you can see him playing a newer video game in the beginning of the movie. Forgot what it was, but I know he was playing it. The 1995 version, which is the one with Robert Williams in it, starts with Okay, we're just gonna have to ignore them, but it starts with Alan and Sarah first playing the Jumanji game after Alan found it in a construction site. They play it, and almost immediately Alan is sucked into the game. And then we go to 26 years later when Peter and Judy move into his house, and they find the game, start playing it, realizing that animals from Africa, and then pretty early, whenever they started doing that, Alan came out and kind of ran around, realizing where he is, and then all three of them finally came to a conclusion that Alan and Sarah need to join back in order to finish the game, to like reset everything. So whenever all four came together, they had to fight a lot of things. Let me list the many things that they had to fight in order to finish this board game. Ready? Mosquitoes, monkeys, vines, a manhunter for a rhino, rhinos mixed with all the other animals that were in the stampede, alligators, quicksand, big spiders, and finally an earthquake that split the entire house in half. So whenever they finally beat the game, every animal thing that was thrown at the four players was finally sucked back into the game. And even reverse time back to where Alan and Sarah first played the game. So they're back to children. What? So, in my opinion, I know I'm not supposed to give like opinions when it comes to facts, but my opinion, I think the older model of what Jumanji is supposed to look like inside the board game is actually different from what it looks like in the Jumanji from 2017 and 2019. And I feel like saying that out loud means it's a no-brainer, of course, because yeah. If you've enjoyed listening to the Jumanji, and if you are fascinated by this information, it goes more into detail from the links in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Good night. This is the end of the video. End of the video. End of the video. Pew pew. End of the video. End of the video. This is the end of the video. Pew pew. Pew pew. Pew pew. End of the video. End of the video. End of the video. Oh.